Chosen one, stop scrolling right now. Heaven has just interrupted your path. This is not another random message on your screen, this is divine intervention. You are standing in the middle of a spiritual crossroad, and God Himself has pressed pause on your routine to get your attention. The reason your life is at risk, and you've been ignoring the warnings meant to save you. You felt it for weeks, something is off. Strange delays, sudden exhaustion, things falling apart just as they're about to succeed. You keep saying, it's just bad luck, but heaven says, it's a warning. Every disruption, every closed door, every uneasy feeling you've brushed aside has been divine communication. You didn't lose control, God took it, because your next step was heading straight into danger. You've prayed for protection, but when protection came in the form of divine interruption, you called it a setback. You wanted movement, but heaven wanted pause. You wanted progress, but heaven wanted to prevent collapse. Listen, the silence around you isn't abandonment, it's strategy. When God withholds what you want, He's protecting what you carry. Ombu, you are not ordinary. You were never designed to blend in. From the moment you entered this world, you were marked by heaven for purpose, and that mark attracts warfare. The enemy's goal isn't to destroy your body, it's to silence your obedience. Because the moment you obey fully, chains break not only from your life, but from lives connected to your assignment. That's why distraction has become your biggest battle. Every time you start praying again, your phone rings. Every time you decide to fast, one unexpected chaos breaks out. These aren't coincidences, they're coordinated attacks to keep you asleep spiritually. But now, heaven has stepped in to wake you up. The voice of the Lord declares in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 7, Son of man, I have made you a watchman. So hear the word I speak and give them warning from me. This word is your warning. You have been chosen as a watchman, someone who stands between danger and destiny. Heaven is speaking directly to you because others are attached to your obedience. If you fall, generations suffer. That is why you cannot keep living carelessly, ignoring conviction, or silencing that inner voice. Listen, God does not warn twice without purpose. When He sends a sign again and again, it's mercy speaking. But mercy doesn't wait forever. Every time you dismiss the tug in your spirit, your sensitivity dulls. Every time you say, later, I'll change, your discernment fades a little more. That's why this message feels different. It's heaven's final interruption before silence. Don't confuse comfort with safety. Sometimes the easiest path is the deadliest one. You've been praying for peace, but what you really need is clarity. You don't need another sign, you need obedience. The danger is not around you anymore, it's in your delay. You've already seen what happens when you ignore the small nudges. Relationships crumble. Opportunities vanish. Energy drains. That's not coincidence. It's the consequence of spiritual negligence. Heaven is saying, wake up. The hour of neutrality is over. You cannot keep one foot in faith and the other in compromise. You cannot keep saying you're chosen but living like you're common. The world doesn't need another distracted believer, it needs a warrior awake to divine urgency. You've been called to sound the alarm, but how can you warn others if you're asleep yourself? This is why the shaking came to awaken the watchman in you. The storms you've faced were never meant to destroy you, but to activate you. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. Now is the time to surrender your distractions, to silence the noise and to return to obedience. Heaven is ready to release new instructions, but God cannot speak clearly to a divided heart. Your next season depends on your response right now. Type 9999 in the comments as a prophetic act symbol of divine completion and spiritual restoration. When you do, you're declaring, I choose obedience over delay. If this message has pierced your heart, don't just feel it, act on it. Like this message, share it with one more soul who might be ignoring their own divine warnings. And subscribe, not for content, but to stay connected to the flow of heaven's instruction. This is your wake-up call, chosen one. Heaven is not trying to frighten you, it's trying to save you. The interruption is mercy. The warning is love, and the time is now. Do not resist this moment. Heaven's eyes are on you, waiting for your response. One act of obedience tonight can rewrite the entire direction of your destiny. Choose life. Choose surrender. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to awaken nations. Stand up. Chosen one, the trumpet has sounded, and heaven is watching your next move. Respond now. You have heard the whispers before, the quiet voice in your spirit telling you to wait, to pause, to turn away, to reconsider that decision. Yet you brushed it aside, convincing yourself that it was just anxiety, that perhaps you were overthinking. But now, the signs have multiplied. The interruptions have grown louder. Heaven has been speaking, and your hesitation has been the only reason you still stand in uncertainty. There is a sacred moment when God speaks softly, inviting you to listen. And then there is the moment when his tone shifts, when the silence becomes heavy, when the protection begins to thin. You are standing in that moment now. Heaven is still speaking. But your heart has grown used to the noise of the world. Every ignored nudge, every dismissed conviction has built a wall around your ears. Yet God's mercy keeps calling. The prophet Jeremiah cried out in chapter 6, verse 10, "To whom can I speak and give warning? Their ears are closed so they cannot hear." This scripture is not ancient history, it is happening again. The Spirit is searching for listeners, but distraction has deafened the chosen. You have heard the message again and again in different forms. A broken relationship that should have taught you discernment. A door that slammed shut before your plans could unfold. A delay that forced you to rest. All of them were warnings dressed as disappointment. You see, divine warnings rarely come wrapped in thunder. They arrive in whispers. They appear through exhaustion that refuses to leave, through conversations that unsettle your peace, through people you were meant to release long ago but still hold on to. Heaven speaks in patterns, and the pattern around you has been consistent. Stop, reflect, realign. Yet the more signs God sends, the louder the world becomes. You fill the silence with noise, the discomfort with busyness, and the conviction with excuses. You keep saying, once things calm down, I'll pray. But things never calm down because disobedience creates chaos. The very rest you crave hides behind the act of surrender you keep postponing. The danger is subtle. You think you're surviving, but you're drifting. You think you're managing, but you're missing messages from heaven, the same way a flame weakens when it's covered. Your discernment fades when your attention is divided. The more you run toward what looks safe, the further you move from what's sacred. It's time to see the pattern clearly. Heaven interrupts not to inconvenience you, but to preserve you. The job that didn't hire you, the friend who suddenly left, the plan that failed, each was an answered prayer disguised as loss. If you could see what was being prepared behind the scenes, you would thank God for every closed door. But now, heaven warns you again. You are reaching a threshold, a line where repeated resistance becomes rebellion. When God says wait, and you insist on moving, you step out of his covering. You've been feeling the unrest lately, that strange tension that doesn't let you sleep, that unease you can't explain. It's not fear. It's the Spirit shaking you awake before something collapses. You are still on time, but not for long. Warnings are not forever. They come as acts of love before judgment arrives. The difference between a fall and a rescue is one moment of attention. If you would simply pause now, breathe and ask, "Lord, what are you saying?" clarity would return. The fog would lift. Heaven's warnings are always wrapped in love. God does not send chaos to destroy you. He allows it to draw you closer. You keep asking for a sign, but signs have surrounded you for months. Strange coincidences, lost peace, heavy dreams, unexplainable delays. None of it was random. All of it was mercy speaking. You may not have realized it, but you are walking with divine surveillance. Every choice you make sends a signal into the unseen world. When you obey, heaven advances. When you ignore, heaven pauses. God's patience is vast, but his timing is holy. What he tolerated in your past season will not be tolerated in this one. It is not too late to hear again. But to hear, you must quiet everything else. The world has made noise a habit, but silence is where God speaks clearest. Go back to that secret place, the one you left when life got too busy. That is where your clarity will return. That is where heaven's language becomes audible again. You don't need a prophet to confirm what you already know deep down. The warnings have been clear. Heaven is not repeating itself to scare you, it's repeating itself to rescue you. Do not harden your heart again. Every delay of obedience costs more than you can imagine. Heaven's patience is mercy, but mercy has a window. Listen before silence becomes judgment. Your spirit already knows the truth. The warnings were never to shame you, but to shield you. Return to the stillness there. Instruction waits and peace will find you again. You have walked among smiling faces that hide serpents. The danger has always been closer than you imagined. Not because God abandoned you, but because he wanted to teach you discernment. You've been too trusting, too forgiving of patterns that kept draining your spirit. You called it love, but it was a trap wrapped in affection. The enemy rarely comes with horns, he comes with charm, with understanding, with words that sound like healing but taste like poison. The ones who seemed to understand your pain were sometimes the very ones assigned to keep you stuck in it. Every conversation that left you more confused than comforted. Every relationship that started with peace but ended with chaos. These were not coincidences, they were indicators of infiltration. Heaven has been trying to show you who is for you and who is not. But your compassion blurred your vision. You saw potential where God saw danger. That's why everything feels like it's shaking now. You are standing in a season of exposure. Masks are falling and pretenders are being revealed. Heaven is removing the familiar so that truth can breathe again. You asked for clarity, but clarity comes with loss. The light of revelation doesn't just show direction, it shows deception. And when God exposes what was hidden, you will have no choice but to let go. The Word of God reveals in the book of Proverbs, chapter 26, verse 24, enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit. You see, this isn't about paranoia, it's about perception. The Spirit is giving you the ability to see beyond faces and hear beyond words. You will begin to notice that peace leaves your atmosphere when certain people enter it. That's not emotional sensitivity, that's spiritual discernment awakening. Your spirit is detecting what your eyes can't. Be grateful for the discomfort. It's divine defense. Every betrayal was a course correction, not a punishment. You didn't lose friends, you lost access to sabotage. Heaven is cleaning your environment because your next assignment requires purity of circle and clarity of heart. Not everyone who walked with you can walk into your calling. And yet, you've been fighting to keep what God is trying to remove. You keep asking, why can't they understand me? Heaven answers, because they were never sent to. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some were seasonal, and the season has ended. Your loyalty to comfort cannot outweigh your loyalty to calling. Chosen one, you must learn to release quickly. The longer you cling to expired connections, the heavier your spirit becomes. Some relationships were meant to teach, not to last. Learn the lesson, bless the person, and move forward. The same hands you use to hold on to the wrong people cannot receive what heaven is sending next. Understand this discernment is protection in disguise. God doesn't expose to humiliate, He exposes to preserve. Every truth revealed now will save you from deeper pain later. The faces around you may shift, but divine presence remains constant. As long as you obey the guidance, you will not be caught off guard again. Look closely at your recent memories, the arguments that felt unnecessary, the sudden distance between you and certain people, the strange heaviness after simple interactions. Those are clues. Heaven has been whispering. Pay attention. The reason you felt uneasy isn't because you're paranoid, it's because your spirit knows something your mind hasn't caught up with yet. The enemy's disguise has always been familiarity. He hides behind what looks safe because he knows your heart is tender. That's why discernment must rise higher than emotion. If you feel a constant drain but can't explain why, stop trying to rationalize it. Your spirit is warning you. You're entering a stage where you must walk with awareness, not fear. Awareness keeps you guarded, but fear keeps you bound. Heaven doesn't want you isolated. Heaven wants you illuminated. There's a difference between walking alone and walking protected. You are being separated for strategy, not solitude. Now breathe. The truth hurts, but it heals. Every revelation that stings today will save you tomorrow. You may not understand why some people had to go, but later you will thank God that they did. Clarity always comes after separation. Write in the comments, eyes open. When you do, you're making a declaration aligning your spirit with divine discernment. You are choosing to see truth, even when it hurts, and to walk forward with vision sharpened by heaven. The season of deception is ending. You will no longer be fooled by sweet words or familiar faces. You will sense the atmosphere shift and know instantly what spirit has entered the room. This is what happens when heaven trains its chosen ones. You stop guessing and you start discerning. Write in the comments, eyes open. By typing these words, you're declaring spiritual alertness that from this moment on, you will no longer walk blind. You choose revelation over illusion, clarity over confusion, and truth over comfort. Heaven records your awakening now. You have wondered why it feels harder to focus lately. You start something meaningful and suddenly distractions multiply. Every time you decide to draw closer to God, your schedule floods with urgency. Every attempt to pray is interrupted by a message, a noise, a thought that drifts elsewhere. That is not coincidence, it is the spirit of distraction. An invisible strategy sent to keep your mind busy so your spirit stays asleep. Distraction doesn't always come dressed as evil. It often comes disguised as obligation, entertainment, or comfort. It tells you that you're just tired, that you'll pray later, that one more scroll won't matter. Yet, without realizing it, your time gets stolen, your energy diluted, and your purpose postponed. The enemy knows he cannot destroy you, so he distracts you. If he can't make you bad, he'll make you busy. You were meant to operate from focus. Heaven built your mind as a gate between divine revelation and earthly action. Every idea, every vision, every spark of creativity you've ever had was meant to flow through a focused spirit. But distraction contaminates that flow. It divides your attention until your purpose feels scattered. And when purpose feels scattered, destiny slows down. The most dangerous warfare is not always fought with sickness or tragedy, it's fought through subtle detours of attention. You lose your strength not in sudden collapses, but in small, daily leaks of purpose. The scroll that never ends, the conversation that leads nowhere, the worry that circles your thoughts without resolution. All of these consume spiritual energy. You've been asking God for direction. But how can He direct a moving target? Heaven can only steer what is still. That's why your spirit keeps feeling drained. You're running in too many directions, chasing too many sounds. The spirit of distraction doesn't need to stop you, it only needs to scatter you. Notice how it happens. You wake up with good intention. You tell yourself, today I'll be productive. Today I'll pray. Today I'll start again. But before the first hour ends, something grabs your attention, a notification, a text, a worry, and your focus drifts. By the time night comes, you feel guilty for wasting another day. This pattern has repeated so long it's become normal, but heaven says, break it. The Word of God speaks in the book of Isaiah, chapter 26, verse 3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Peace is not the absence of chaos. It is the result of focus. The mind that trusts God doesn't wander endlessly. When your attention locks on divine truth, distractions lose their power. But trust must be practiced. Every time you feel the urge to drift, pull your thoughts back to what matters. There are moments when distraction is not just mental, it's spiritual. Certain environments drain you because they carry energy that opposes your purpose. Some conversations leave you confused because they are not meant for your spirit to digest. You must guard your atmosphere the same way you guard your faith. When the wrong voices surround you, they plant seeds that grow into confusion. Silence has become rare, but silence is sacred. It's where heaven whispers solutions. You keep asking for clarity, but God has been waiting for quiet. The answers are not missing, they're muffled. You don't need more inspiration, you need isolation. Even Jesus withdrew often to pray alone. If the Son of God needed solitude, what makes you think you can survive without it? Every minute of attention is a weapon. Where you direct it decides what grows. Focus on fear, and fear expands. Focus on truth, and peace multiplies. The spirit of distraction knows this principle. That's why it fights for your gaze. Your eyes are gates, and what you allow in shapes what you believe. You've been losing hours to meaningless noise, unaware that time is one of heaven's currencies. You can always make more money, but never more time. The spirit of distraction doesn't just waste your seconds, it delays your seasons. Every delay in focus pushes destiny further away. That's why heaven is confronting you now, not in anger, but in love. Return to simplicity. Turn off the noise. Cancel what doesn't grow you. Your peace will return the moment you stop feeding chaos. The battle is not outside you, it's within. Once your mind submits again to divine order, distractions lose their grip. You will begin to hear God's voice again, sharper than ever before. Heaven is calling you back to stillness because stillness is strength. The purpose you thought you lost is waiting where you left your focus. Go back there, reclaim it. The world will not slow down for you, but heaven will. Silence is not emptiness, it is alignment. In the quiet, heaven rearranges your thoughts and restores your strength. Every pause in His presence rebuilds what distraction tried to destroy. You will no longer chase noise. Your spirit will crave peace again. And in that peace, your clarity, purpose, and power will return fully. You can feel it, the tremor that doesn't come from the earth but from within your spirit. something is shifting. Heaven has started to separate what is temporary from what is eternal. You sense it in the way old interests no longer excite you, in how the noise of the world grows unbearable, in how silence now feels sacred. You are not losing control, you are being shaken into alignment. This is what it means when heaven begins the process called the shaking of the chosen. When God shakes, he is not trying to destroy. He is removing what cannot stay. Every false comfort, every hidden fear, every dependency that disguised itself as peace begins to tremble under divine pressure. The shaking is not punishment, it's purification. You asked for growth, and growth demands separation. To rise higher, you cannot remain attached to what refuses to move. At first, it feels cruel. You wonder why everything you relied on suddenly becomes unstable, why certain people drift away, why opportunities dissolve, why your emotions feel exposed. But deep inside, something holier is being built. The shaking reveals your foundation, and what stands after it ends is what was meant to last. It is written in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 27. The words once more indicate the removing of what can be shaken, that is, created things, so that what cannot be shaken may remain. That is what heaven is doing in you, removing the unnecessary, preserving the unshakable. You are learning what cannot be taken: your faith, your identity, your covenant with God. These are the pieces that will remain when everything else collapses. The shaking exposes attachments that were never meant to define you. You will see it in relationships that no longer flow, in ambitions that lose meaning, in desires that suddenly fade. God is not subtracting to punish, he is subtracting to strengthen. When the dust settles, you will realize that what left you was never truly yours. It was just passing through to teach you endurance. And as the shaking deepens, heaven begins to whisper again, do not fear the movement, for I am in the motion. Every tremor in your life is divine choreography, shifting you closer to destiny. What feels like instability is actually positioning. The ground that quakes beneath you is not breaking, it's birthing. You are being prepared to stand in storms that would crush others. You are learning how to remain steady when everything familiar moves. The old version of you could not carry what the next season requires. That is why God allowed the shaking to separate the survivor from the chosen. If you look closely, the shaking is also revealing new strength. You're noticing how quickly you recover now, how tears no longer drown you, how peace returns faster after chaos. That's growth. Heaven is training your heart to endure impact without losing focus. You are becoming unshakable because you've been shaken. And perhaps that is the greatest beauty of this season. What once broke you is now teaching you how to stand taller. What once frightened you now fuels your courage. You are no longer a victim of waves, you are learning to walk on them. In this sacred transition, do not resist the divine tremor. Let it reorder your heart, your habits, your priorities. The shaking is the sound of heaven rearranging your future. It is the rhythm of transformation echoing through your bones. When the shaking ends, you will recognize yourself by peace, not by pain. You will thank God for every moment that felt uncertain, because uncertainty was the tool that built your trust. You will look back and see that what was falling apart was actually falling into place. And now, as you stand in this holy stillness after the quake, you are faced with a quiet invitation, not a command, but a choice. To keep walking with this voice, to remain connected to this stream of light that keeps meeting you here, speaking life when everything else falls silent. If your heart feels this light, let it travel. Gently touch the flame press like as a way of whispering, I'm still here. Let the spark move further, share it, as though you were passing a candle to another soul in the dark. And if you wish to remain near this fire, subscribe not as a duty, but as a devotion, a way of saying, keep the light alive in me. Because this isn't about a platform, it's about preservation. The shaking has revealed what is real, and what is real must be nurtured. Somewhere in your spirit, you already know this moment is not random. It's a continuation of everything heaven has been whispering. So stay near. Keep your heart open. Keep your eyes lifted toward the source of the light. The shaking will end. The noise will settle. And you will remain stronger, purer, unshakable. Grace has been patient with you. Time after time. Heaven has knocked on your heart gently at first, then urgently. You've felt it in your conscience, in your sleepless nights, in the quiet weight that refuses to leave even when everything looks fine on the outside. This is mercy's final knock, the moment when heaven stretches its hand one more time before silence follows. You think you've wandered too far, but you haven't. You're still within reach. What you're feeling now isn't condemnation, it's conviction. It's heaven calling your name, reminding you that you are still chosen, still loved, still recoverable. God hasn't stopped reaching for you, but He won't force your return. The door is still open, yet it won't stay open forever. You've ignored the warnings, yes, but you haven't been forgotten. Grace has shielded you from consequences you should have already faced. The reason you're still breathing, still hearing these words, is because mercy intervened. But mercy can only protect you while you're willing to listen. When obedience fades, mercy begins to step back. The prophet Hosea once spoke of a people who drifted so far that they no longer felt the loss of His presence. That's the danger when sin becomes normal, when delay feels safe, when your heart stops trembling at what once broke it. That numbness is not peace, it's distance, and heaven is crying out tonight. Come back before silence settles. It was declared in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 20. Here I am, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person, and they with me. This is that knock. You hear it not through thunder, but through conviction, the sacred ache that stirs in your chest as you read these words. Heaven is closer than you think. That unease in your spirit is not guilt. It's grace calling for permission to enter again. Mercy doesn't chase forever. There comes a time when the voice grows faint, not because God gives up, but because your heart hardens. Each ignored prompting builds a wall between you and divine sensitivity. Soon, you no longer hear the knock, you only hear the echo of your own will. Heaven's warning is simple. Do not reach that silence. You know what God has asked of you. That habit you keep excusing, that relationship you know you must release, that secret sin you keep hiding under distraction, these are the doors that must open. Heaven cannot pour new oil into sealed chambers. If you keep pretending that obedience is optional, you'll lose the very covering that has kept you safe. This is not punishment. It's purification. Every act of obedience is a doorway back into peace. When you finally surrender what you've been holding, the weight will lift, the dreams will return, and the voice of heaven will grow clear again. Do not mistake patience for permission. God's silence doesn't mean approval, it means waiting. But waiting ends when the appointed moment arrives, and this is that moment. Heaven has pressed pause on your distractions to give you one last window to respond. Feel the gravity of that truth. This isn't another inspirational message. It's an invitation sealed in mercy. You don't have to fix yourself first, you only have to answer the door. God isn't asking for perfection, just surrender. Take this moment seriously. Don't let it fade into the noise of tomorrow. Every act of obedience you delay becomes an open door for confusion, exhaustion, and emptiness. But every act of surrender restores light. The door still stands before you half open, waiting for your hand. Write in the comments 7/7, and it's not superstition, it's symbolism. 4 sevens completion multiplied, a prophetic declaration that you are done running, done resisting, done delaying. When you type it, you're not just reacting, you're responding to heaven's final knock, saying, I open the door. Heaven doesn't need perfection to work through you. It needs permission. Mercy is not gone. It's waiting. This message found you before silence could. And if you open the door now, everything that felt distant will rush back like the warmth of a long-lost home. The door is still open, but for how long? That answer depends on your next heartbeat. Choose it wisely. Write in the comments 777. This number isn't magic, it's meaning. It represents divine order restored, the end of resistance, and the beginning of alignment. Every 7 echoes completion. 4 sevens symbolize completion in every dimension: heart, mind, body, and spirit. When you write 7777, you're not performing a ritual, you're performing remembrance. You are declaring, I'm ready to end what drains me and begin what heals me. It's your signature on heaven's invitation, your quiet yes to transformation. The simple act of typing becomes a bridge between hesitation and obedience. So type it now. Not for me, but for you. Let the numbers be your signpost, the mark that mercy was heard and answered. In heaven's record, it won't appear as digits, it will appear as surrender. There is a reason the battles in your life have felt heavier than most. It is not because you are cursed or forgotten. It is because you carry something sacred, something the enemy cannot afford to let awaken. Every storm, every strange delay, every sudden exhaustion has been designed to bury what God entrusted to you long before you even knew who you were. You were born with an assignment woven into your spirit, before you were conscious of it. Heaven had already whispered your name into eternity's plans. The resistance you face is not proof that you are failing. It is evidence that you are chosen. Hell only fights what it fears, and you have been feared since the day you were formed. There are missions inside you that you've mistaken for dreams, desires that feel too heavy, too impossible. They aren't random wishes, they are blueprints. The reason ordinary life feels uncomfortable is because you were never meant for ordinary things. You keep trying to blend into spaces that were never designed for your light. Every time you shrink to fit, your spirit suffocates a little more. The Word of God declares in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5, Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. That truth wasn't spoken only to one man. It's a pattern of how heaven operates. God designs before he delivers. You were set apart before you took your first breath, and that's why the crowd never fully embraced you, why certain environments always made you restless, and why the opinions of others could never truly define you. You are operating under a divine appointment, and appointments carry weight. Your hidden assignment explains your warfare. Every time you get close to awakening purpose, chaos increases. The attacks are not random, they are tactical. Hell studies you. It knows that if you ever fully realize who you are, everything around you will shift. That is why you face resistance in the very areas you are called to influence. The enemy cannot remove your anointing, so he distracts you into underestimating it. Think about it. You felt small in rooms that your presence was meant to change. You've questioned your worth while others silently drew strength from your endurance. You've been misunderstood. Not because you're confusing, but because you speak the language of destiny and not everyone is fluent in it. The world around you reacts to your calling, even when you don't recognize it yourself. Every trial you've endured was secretly training. Every betrayal, every rejection, every door slammed in your face was shaping your discernment. The pain didn't break you, it educated you. You learned how to love without losing yourself, how to give without being used, how to stand even when unseen. Those are not just lessons, they're tools for your mission. The hidden assignments God gives often appear impossible because they're designed to require divine partnership. You can't complete them through talent or willpower alone. That's why your strength fails right before breakthrough so that His power can begin. You were never meant to carry this destiny alone. Every divine mission is a collaboration between heaven's vision and human obedience. Some of the things you've been running from are actually the very signs of your calling. The heaviness you feel when you ignore your purpose. The deep unrest that lingers when you delay obedience, these are not random emotions. They're signals from heaven reminding you that you're off course. Your life will never feel peaceful outside the path of your assignment, because peace is location-based. It exists only where purpose is fulfilled. It's time to stop seeing yourself as fragile. You are not weak. You are weighted with destiny. Every season of silence, every night you thought you were forgotten, was heaven's workshop building endurance inside you. You've been hidden because exposure too early would have destroyed you. The darkness wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Now, the season of revealing draws near. You will soon see why nothing worked before. The people who left had to. The doors that closed were supposed to, and the delays were disguised protection. Everything that once felt like loss will soon prove itself as alignment. You are stepping into the unveiling of your hidden assignments. You are not behind schedule. You are right on time. Heaven has been pacing your growth with precision. What felt like stagnation was synchronization. Every no that hurt you was heaven's way of preserving the version of you that could carry the yes now forming. The assignments you hold are not small, they carry eternal weight. You are not just surviving, you are preparing to lead. And as you walk forward, the very battles that once intimidated you will bow before the authority rising within you. Heaven hasn't forgotten what it placed inside you, it's simply waiting for you to remember. Lately, your dreams have become louder. They arrive in flashes, sometimes vivid, sometimes strange, leaving you awake in the middle of the night with a feeling you can't shake. You've wondered if they mean anything or if your mind is simply tired. But heaven wants you to know your dreams are not accidents. They are messages, coded communications from the divine realm. When the body rests, the spirit awakens. The noise of the world grows quiet, and in that stillness, heaven speaks in symbols. It shows what words cannot express: warnings, confirmations, glimpses of paths yet unseen. The reason your dreams have intensified is because heaven has increased its communication. You've been ignoring the day signs, so the Spirit began to visit you by night. In ancient times, God often spoke to His chosen ones through dreams: Joseph, Daniel, Jacob. Their destinies were revealed not through noise, but through images that unfolded while their bodies slept. The same pattern continues. The language of heaven has not changed. Only the attention of humanity has. While the world laughs at dreams, heaven still uses them to deliver direction. The voice of God reminds us in the book of Job, chapter 33, verse 15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people as they slumber in their beds. Dreams are the meeting place between the eternal and the temporary. When you close your eyes, your spirit enters a realm not limited by time. There, You are reminded of what your waking mind forgets, that your life is part of a larger story. Each scene you witness, each emotion you feel in those moments carries meaning. Some dreams comfort, some disturb, but all of them invite discernment. The dreams that trouble you are not meant to scare you, but to awaken you. A storm in your sleep may symbolize inner conflict. Running endlessly may reflect your avoidance of calling. Seeing light after darkness may signal breakthrough. Heaven communicates through imagery because your spirit understands symbols more deeply than your intellect. The key is not fear, but interpretation. Sometimes you dismiss them because they seem fragmented, but fragments are still divine clues. Write them down, even when they don't make sense. Patterns will emerge. Heaven often speaks in repetition when a symbol returns again and again. It's a sign that urgency has increased. You've also noticed faces in your dreams, some familiar, some unknown. Each one represents something deeper. A known face may reveal unfinished healing. A stranger might embody an assignment yet to come. When a dream lingers in your memory long after waking, that is the spirit asking for reflection. Nothing heaven sends is meaningless. Dreams also serve as warnings. Sometimes God shows danger ahead, not to terrify you, but to prepare you. A conflict revealed in sleep allows you to pray with precision when you wake. A shadowed figure or a feeling of suffocation often symbolizes unseen opposition, a call to strengthen your spiritual armor, not to live in fear. When heaven reveals darkness, it's always to expose its limits, not to empower it. There are nights when you feel chased or trapped. Those are not nightmares, but revelations of what has tried to bind you in waking life: fear, doubt, shame. Each time you awaken from such dreams, it's not random that your heart races. That pounding in your chest is your spirit's reminder that you survived another spiritual battle fought in the unseen. The same way dreams can warn, they can also heal. Some nights, you see places or people long gone. Sometimes you cry in your sleep and wake lighter. That's not confusion, it's release. Heaven uses the dream realm to untie emotional knots your waking heart is too guarded to touch. Every tear shed there counts as prayer. When you begin to honor your dreams as divine communication, you'll notice peace returning. You'll see that even the strangest visions have purpose. The spirit may not always explain immediately, but understanding grows as obedience grows. The more you listen, the clearer they become. Guard your nights as carefully as your days. What you watch, say, or meditate on before sleep shapes the atmosphere of your rest. Enter the night in prayer, not distraction. Before your eyes close, surrender your thoughts, invite clarity. You are not simply sleeping, you are stepping into sacred dialogue. The dreams you've been given lately carry instruction. Some are personal, others are prophetic for those around you. Do not rush to tell them. Some are meant for secrecy until fulfillment. What is revealed in stillness must often mature in silence. Trust heaven's timing. This season, your dreams will become sharper. You'll awaken knowing exactly what to do, who to avoid, and when to move. That's the gift of divine communication. It turns confusion into direction. You are being trained to hear in the night what others ignore in the noise of day. Your nights are not wasted hours, they are classrooms of revelation. Pay attention, record, reflect. Heaven is speaking, even while the world sleeps. There's a fire that burns quietly inside your chest whenever truth confronts you. It isn't anger, it's conviction. That invisible tightening, that pressure you feel when you know you should change but hesitate, is not guilt. It is heaven's hand refusing to let you drift into darkness. Conviction is not judgment, it is mercy in motion. It means heaven still believes you can turn around. You've spent too long confusing conviction with condemnation. Condemnation says, you're done. Conviction says, you're still loved enough to be corrected. The very fact that you feel this weight proves God hasn't stopped speaking. When conviction burns, it's heaven's sign that the door is still open. There are moments when the Spirit whispers gently, and moments when it roars like thunder inside your conscience. You've experienced both. Sometimes the whisper came through a quiet thought, don't go there. Other times it came through chaos plans collapsing, peace vanishing, hearts breaking. Every interruption you've faced lately is not punishment but persuasion. Heaven has been shaking everything false around you so that truth can finally stand unchallenged. The Word of God proclaims in the book of Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 15, today, if you hear His voice, do not harden your hearts. That's the urgency heaven brings. The longer you resist, the quieter conviction becomes. And once conviction disappears, so does sensitivity. You start calling danger normal and compromise balance. That's when hearts turn to stone, unmoved, unbothered, unreachable. But your heart isn't fully hardened yet. You still feel the pull. That's proof of grace. The tightening in your chest when you hear truth is the signal that heaven hasn't left. You keep asking for a sign, yet the sign is already pulsing inside you. Then conviction is the Spirit's language of love. It whispers, you were made for more than this. It calls you out of what you've tolerated for too long. You've noticed how peace disappears right after certain choices, how joy fades after certain conversations. That's not coincidence. It's communication. Heaven removes peace when you start stepping away from destiny. The absence of peace is heaven's alarm system. Every restless night is proof that your spirit refuses to live in compromise. Do not silence conviction with distraction. The more you drown it in entertainment or excuses, the more distance forms between you and clarity. Conviction is like a flame, it either refines or it fades. If you feed it with obedience, it will shape you. If you smother it, you'll lose direction. Sometimes conviction feels like heartbreak because it dismantles illusions. It forces you to see the truth about who you've become and what you've allowed. But within that pain lies freedom. The very moment you stop resisting, peace rushes back like air after suffocation. That's what repentance truly is. Not shame, but release. Understand this: heaven's discipline is not rejection, it's proof of belonging. God corrects His own. He interrupts because He refuses to lose you. That restlessness you've been trying to escape by staying busy, scrolling endlessly, or pretending not to care, that's the divine tug pulling you home. Conviction always leads to choice. You can keep ignoring it until silence comes, or you can respond and feel heaven's presence return stronger than before. The fire burning inside you tonight is asking for surrender, not explanation. You don't need to justify your mistakes, you just need to yield. The reason you feel this intensity now is because heaven knows timing is critical. Delay is dangerous in the realm of destiny. Every second you hesitate, darkness strengthens its grip. But every second you obey, light floods back in. This is not just a message, it's a mirror. Heaven is showing you who you were always meant to be before pain, pride, and fear clouded your vision. That version of you still exists holy, humble, and aligned. Conviction is heaven's invitation to return there. Don't fight the fire, let it purify. Don't run from correction, run through it. You will emerge lighter, freer, and clearer than ever before. What once burned to expose will soon burn to empower. Write in the comments, I'm listening. When you type these words, you're not responding to a human voice, but to the divine one. You are acknowledging that conviction is welcome, that your ears are open and your heart is ready to obey. Conviction may sting, but it saves. Let it. Allow the fire to finish its work, and you'll find that what it leaves behind is gold. Write in the comments, "I'm listening." These 2 words are not small. They're sacred. They tell heaven that your ears, once distracted, are open again. You're not just hearing, you're receiving. When you say, "I'm listening," you're declaring that your heart no longer argues with conviction. You're giving God permission to speak freely, to correct, to heal, and to restore what silence nearly stole. Type it as a vow between you and heaven. Let these words become your doorway to clarity, your sign of surrender and your echo of obedience. There is a war around you that your eyes cannot see. It doesn't roar with noise or flames, it moves quietly, in thoughts, in moods, in sudden waves of heaviness that come without reason. You think you are simply tired, but heaven sees the battle raging in the unseen. Every moment you choose faith over fear, light over numbness, prayer over silence, you win ground that hell wanted to claim. The warfare is subtle, but it's real. Darkness cannot create, so it imitates. It whispers. You're alone when you are surrounded by angels. It says, "You're forgotten," while heaven carves your name on its walls. It feeds you illusions until despair looks like truth. That is why you've been feeling drained after doing nothing. The war isn't physical, it's spiritual. The fatigue of your body often mirrors the exhaustion of your soul. But listen, you were never meant to fight alone. The moment you said yes to God's call, heaven assigned reinforcements. You've been covered by prayers you didn't know existed, protected by angels you've never seen, sustained by grace that renews itself daily. The fact that you're still standing proves that light is winning. The Word of God reminds us in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. You are not crazy for feeling unseen warfare. You're just sensitive to truth. The atmosphere around you shifts when you walk in, it always has. That's because you carry a presence that disturbs darkness. Your existence is interference to evil. That's why confusion rises before your breakthroughs, why arguments erupt before moments of clarity. It's not coincidence, it's resistance. But resistance is also revelation. It reveals what's at stake. The greater the warfare, the greater the purpose. You are fighting battles that announce the weight of your destiny. Heaven doesn't waste energy defending something meaningless. Every time you feel opposition, remember it's proof of your importance in the unseen realm. The invisible war isn't meant to break you, it's meant to build you. You are learning how to fight without fear, how to discern before you decide, how to speak light into heavy places. The enemy wants you reactive, but heaven wants you anchored. The storm isn't proof of absence, it's the classroom of authority. Each prayer you whisper becomes a weapon. Each act of forgiveness weakens darkness. Each moment you choose love when anger would be easier. You shift the balance of power. Heaven keeps score differently. It measures victory not in noise, but in obedience. When you wake up feeling heavy, don't assume you're losing, assume you're being trained. Warriors don't grow strong in peace. They grow wise in pressure. And you, chosen one, are being refined into a weapon heaven can trust. Now, when the warfare feels overwhelming, you don't have to shout back at the darkness. You only need to stay aligned. Light never argues with shadow, it simply shines. Keep standing, even trembling. Keep praying, even whispering. Heaven hears trembling faith louder than confident rebellion. And then, when the battle quiets for a moment, when you find yourself here again, reading words that steady your heart, pause and breathe. You're not just consuming words, you're part of something sacred, a gathering of light scattered across the world, drawn here for reminder, renewal, resistance. If your spirit feels warmth right now, that's connection. That's heaven telling you you're not alone in this war. And in that stillness, there is a gentle invitation, soft, voluntary, and holy. If this message feels like peace, let it move through you. Touch the flame with a single gesture, press like not as routine, but as remembrance. Let it travel outward, share the light as though passing a torch through the dark. And if you wish to remain close to this fire, subscribe quietly, as one who chooses to keep the lamp burning through long nights. Every gesture is symbolic, a ripple in the unseen, a declaration that you choose light. There is no pressure here, only invitation. Because real connection cannot be forced. It must be felt. So as the war continues beyond these words, carry this image, a circle of lights, each one small, yet together bright enough to make the darkness retreat. You are part of that circle now. Stay luminous, stay faithful, stay free. When night feels longest, remember the smallest flame still defeats the dark. Your endurance is not unnoticed. Heaven sees every silent victory, every whispered prayer. You are proof that faith still stands when everything else falls. And when dawn returns, don't forget who you became in the night, a warrior refined by light, gentle yet unbreakable, scarred yet shining. Carry that strength forward. The battle ends, but your brilliance remains. There is a cost to rebellion that few recognize until it's too late. It rarely begins as open defiance. It starts with small compromises, silent disagreements with what heaven has spoken. You tell yourself it's not disobedience, just delay. Yet delay, when repeated, becomes resistance. Resistance hardens the heart, and rebellion begins quietly long before it's visible to anyone else. You have felt the tension before, that gentle pull that says, "Don't do it," followed by the louder voice of self that insists, "Just this once." Every time you choose comfort over conviction, you drift a little farther from the clarity you once had. The tragedy of rebellion isn't the fall, it's the blindness that comes before it. At first, rebellion feels like freedom. It whispers, "You're thinking for yourself," and pretends that independence equals wisdom. But rebellion against divine order doesn't liberate, it isolates. You lose the covering that once protected you. Peace becomes rare, confusion becomes constant, and the light that once guided you grows dim. The ancient words in the first book of Samuel, chapter 15, verse 23 declare, "For rebellion is like the sin of divination, and arrogance like the evil of idolatry." To rebel is to replace divine authority with self-will, to act as if the Creator's instructions need improvement. Heaven calls it dangerous, not because God needs control, but because rebellion leads to ruin. When you remove yourself from divine alignment, the forces that once defended you can no longer intervene freely. The covering of obedience is what keeps you invisible to the enemy. Step outside it, and you become a visible target. You've wondered why certain battles intensified lately, why anxiety and confusion visit uninvited. It's not that God stopped caring, it's that you stepped out of formation. When soldiers leave their assigned position on a battlefield, they stand alone, exposed to every arrow. Obedience isn't about restriction, it's about protection. Rebellion often disguises itself as reason. You start to think, "I'm not rejecting God, I'm just choosing differently." Yet the difference lies in authority, who decides what's right. The moment you elevate your reasoning above divine instruction, you create an idol out of intellect, You begin to serve your understanding instead of trusting His. The cost is subtle at first. The voice of conviction grows faint. Worship becomes routine. Prayer feels heavy. You still speak the right words, but the power behind them fades. Heaven feels distant not because it moved away, but because you turned your back on its direction. Rebellion doesn't silence heaven, it deafens you. If you think of your life as a lamp, obedience is the oil that keeps it burning. Rebellion drains that oil quietly and until the flame sputters. You don't notice it dying until darkness fills the room, and once you realize it, you scramble to find light again. But by then, the process of reigniting takes time and surrender. Yet even here, mercy waits. Heaven's warnings are not vengeance, they're rescue signals. God doesn't expose rebellion to humiliate you. He exposes it to redeem you. Every conviction you feel now, every sense that something must change, is a divine attempt to pull you back under cover. The enemy wants you to believe that your mistakes have made you unworthy. But rebellion is not the end of the story. Repentance is the rewrite. Heaven is still offering restoration, but restoration requires acknowledgement. You cannot heal what you refuse to name. To repent is to return to walk back to the alignment where your protection waits. It doesn't erase the past. It reclaims the present. And in that act, something powerful happens. Clarity returns, peace follows, and the authority you thought you lost begins to stir again. You've learned enough about the danger of rebellion to know that it's not worth the distance it creates. The moment you surrender control, the heaviness lifts. It's almost instant, like light flooding a locked room when the door finally opens. So, examine your heart. Ask quietly, Lord, where have I chosen myself over you? That single question can change everything. Rebellion ends not with dramatic gestures, but with quiet honesty. Heaven listens to whispers far more than declarations. And when you finally turn back, you'll discover that God was never far away. He was walking beside you the entire time, waiting for you to notice. The silence you mistook for rejection was simply His patience watching, hoping, believing you'd return. The cost of rebellion is blindness. The reward of repentance is sight. Choose sight. Choose clarity. The moment you realign, what was once chaotic will settle, what was broken will rebuild, and the covering you thought was lost will wrap around you again. You are still His, and He still calls you chosen. Rebellion ends the moment surrender begins. One breath of honesty can undo years of wandering. Heaven doesn't hold grudges, it holds open doors. Walk through before the moment passes. You are not condemned, you are being called home. The same voice that formed you now whispers, return, their peace is waiting on the other side of obedience. There comes a moment when heaven calls for covenant, when grace moves from invitation to agreement. This is that moment for you. Everything up to now has been preparation. The warnings, the dreams, the shaking, the conviction. They were not random events. They were signatures leading to this one decision to seal your yes in faith, not emotion. You have walked through fire and silence, and yet something in you refuses to die. That spark is covenant waiting to be spoken. God does not simply want your attention, He wants your allegiance. This isn't about religion, it's about relationship. Heaven doesn't ask you to be perfect, it asks you to be willing. A covenant is not a contract you sign, it's a bond you embody. It means choosing obedience when convenience fades. It means saying yes even when you're scared. The power of covenant is that it outlives emotion. Feelings rise and fall, but covenant keeps standing. You don't have to feel strong to stay faithful, you just have to remain connected. You've been called before, but fear kept you from stepping forward. You've hesitated, thinking, what if I fail again? But covenant isn't built on your perfection, it's anchored in His promise. God already knows your weakness and still chose you. What He wants now is your consent to walk with Him, even when you don't understand the path. The Word of God speaks through the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God, He is the faithful God, keeping His covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love Him and keep His commandments. That's what heaven offers you tonight, not just rescue, but relationship faithfulness that outlives failure, love that continues even when you stumble. The covenant is heaven saying, I won't give up on you, even when you give up on yourself. The beauty of divine covenant is that it rewrites legacy. What begins as a private promise between you and God ripples outward into generations. Every act of obedience today becomes protection for tomorrow's children. Your surrender doesn't just heal your story, it alters your bloodline. You've been standing at the threshold for a while. You feel the pull to step fully into destiny, yet fear whispers, what if I'm not ready? But readiness isn't about strength, it's about surrender. Covenant doesn't wait for perfection, it begins with willingness. Heaven is not asking you to prove yourself, it's asking you to agree. The storms that tested you were never meant to destroy, they were meant to confirm. Each trial you survived was heaven's way of showing you what's inside you. Endurance, faith, resilience. Covenant builds on that foundation. You are no longer being asked to survive, you're being asked to stand. Right now, heaven extends its hand again. You can feel it, the holy weight in your chest, the quiet stirring that says, this moment is mine. Every divine encounter eventually asks for a response. This is yours. Write in the comments, 4. It's not about numbers, it's about meaning. 4 fours symbolize divine foundation, heaven's order built in completeness and stability. When you type it, you're saying, I am establishing covenant. You're declaring that from this moment forward, your faith will not be seasonal. It will be steady. When you make this declaration, heaven marks it. Angels record moments like this when human hearts willingly align with eternal will. The number 44444 becomes your signpost, a reminder that what began as words has now become agreement. Covenant is the opposite of convenience. It means staying even when it's hard, trusting when logic fails, obeying when comfort calls louder. But every covenant also carries reward peace that no storm can steal, purpose that no distraction can dilute, and protection that no enemy can penetrate. You're not making a promise to a distant deity. You're sealing a bond with a living God who keeps His word forever. The same one who led you here will not leave you now. He will strengthen your yes with grace, and your weakness will become the proof of His power. So breathe and let this moment settle into your spirit. You don't need to shout or prove anything, just agree silently, wholeheartedly, completely. Heaven heard your yes before you even typed the number. You are not signing away your freedom, you are reclaiming it. Covenant doesn't chain you, it anchors you. It steadies your steps, refines your focus, and restores your fire. From this day forward, your path won't just be survival, it will be sacred partnership. 44444, a symbol, a seal, a start. Heaven has recorded it. Write in the comments, 44444. These numbers are not superstition, they are symbolism. 4 corners of the earth, 4 winds, 4 foundations, stability and divine order. By typing them, you're marking your alignment, saying, my heart stands firm, my covenant is sealed. Let it be your signature of surrender. Heaven reads it not as digits, but as devotion. In eternity's record, 4.444 becomes a declaration that you have chosen partnership with purpose anchored, awakened, and unshakably aligned. Something begins to shift inside you when covenant takes root. It isn't loud or dramatic, it's quiet, steady, and sacred. The atmosphere around your spirit changes. What once drained you no longer holds power. What once confused you suddenly makes sense. The moment you said yes to divine alignment. Heaven released what had been waiting: clarity, peace, and authority. For years, you felt like your purpose was buried beneath delay, fear, and rejection. You questioned if maybe you misheard God, if maybe the call you once felt had expired, but heaven never forgot what it placed inside you. The moment you returned, the mantle began to stir. You can feel it now, a strength rising that doesn't come from you. It's familiar yet new, ancient yet freshly awakened. The Word of God reminds us in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 6, fan into flame the gift of God which is in you. That's what's happening. You are remembering your fire. The calling that lay dormant through seasons of pain is reigniting. The same hands that once trembled in fear are now steady in faith. You're realizing that everything you lost in the waiting was only making room for what you were truly meant to carry. This awakening doesn't announce itself with noise, it comes in whispers. You start seeing small confirmations everywhere, doors opening naturally, peace returning quickly, insight flowing easily. What used to feel forced now feels effortless because alignment has replaced striving. When the mantle awakens, you stop chasing purpose and start walking in it. Every past season now finds its purpose. The pain that once confused you has become your education. You learned endurance from rejection, discernment from betrayal, humility from delay. The very things you prayed against have become the foundation of your authority. Nothing was wasted. Heaven recycles everything surrendered. Now, the mantle rests on you, not as a heavy burden, but as light, the kind that settles gently, reminding you that you are covered, commissioned, and chosen. You don't have to prove your calling. Your presence already shifts atmospheres. People may not understand it, but they will feel it. When you walk into a room, peace will follow. When you speak, conviction will awaken. That's not arrogance, it's the evidence of divine presence. The awakening also changes your appetite. The things that used to entertain you now feel empty. You crave silence, substance, and truth. Heaven has refined your senses so you can detect what carries weight and what's hollow. You are being trained to live differently, to act with precision instead of impulse, to speak with purpose instead of noise. This new authority doesn't mean ease, it means responsibility. The mantle carries both glory and gravity. When heaven trusts you with influence, it also trusts you with warfare. The greater the light, the more attention it draws. But you are ready now. The battles that once broke you can no longer move you. You've learned to fight without losing peace. There will be days when you still feel unqualified. That's normal. Every chosen one wrestles with the contrast between calling and imperfection, but grace covers what effort cannot. You were never chosen because of perfection, you were chosen because of purpose. And purpose doesn't expire with mistakes. Heaven's plans are stronger than human error. As the mantle awakens, you'll begin to dream again, not the dreams of survival, but of transformation. Visions will return. Ideas that once frightened you will now excite you. You'll find yourself doing what you thought impossible with ease. That's the mark of divine empowerment. It feels natural because it's supernatural. Remember, the mantle is not an ornament, it's an assignment. You carry it for others. Every gift given to you is meant to serve, to heal, to restore. The same comfort you received will now flow through you. Where you once needed encouragement, you will now become the encourager. Where you once felt overlooked, you will now see others clearly. The awakening of your mantle turns pain into ministry. You are stepping into a new rhythm, one guided by purpose instead of pressure. Heaven will begin to align people, resources, and moments around you. It's not coincidence, it's coordination. Everything you need will find you at the exact moment you're ready to steward it. Walk carefully but confidently. The mantle is awake, and so are you. The one who once trembled in the shadows now carries light. Every step you take from here forward will echo with purpose. The season of uncertainty is over. The awakening has begun. You are no longer walking in circles, you are walking in purpose. The wilderness has ended, and clarity now leads your path. Heaven trusts you again because you've learned to trust yourself in Him. This is not a beginning. It is a continuation of destiny finally unfolding. What once felt delayed is now divine timing fulfilled. You are the proof that purpose never dies, only waits. Something is happening across the earth, quiet but unstoppable. You may not see it in the headlines, yet you can feel it in your spirit. The atmosphere has shifted. People once asleep in distraction are awakening. The same voice that called you from confusion is calling thousands more. Heaven is gathering its chosen ones, the marked, the refined, the awakened for alignment and assignment. You are not alone. That sense of being different, that lifelong ache of not fitting in, was never rejection, it was recognition. The light inside you was designed to find its reflection in others who carry the same flame. Across cities, nations, and languages, a holy movement is stirring. Heaven is weaving together an unseen network, an army not of violence, but of vision, not of rebellion, but of restoration. Each chosen one has a role. Some are intercessors who pray unseen. Some are voices who speak truth to power. Some are creators who translate divine beauty into art. Others are builders who shape systems of justice and compassion. Each carries a distinct frequency, yet all move in harmony. The gathering of the marked is not about one platform or name, it's about unity without uniformity. The ancient word reminds us in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 16. Then those who feared the Lord talked with each other, and the Lord listened and heard. A scroll of remembrance was written in His presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored His name. Heaven still writes such scrolls. Every connection made between awakened souls is recorded, sealed in light. When you meet another whose spirit burns the same, it's not coincidence, it's coordination. Divine timing arranges encounters long before you realize their importance. Each meeting strengthens the network, making it harder for darkness to divide what heaven has united. This gathering is spiritual, not organizational. It cannot be led by ego or owned by man. It transcends walls, doctrines, and denominations. It flows through those willing to listen and obey, through those who value presence over performance. The chosen ones recognize each other not by appearance, but by atmosphere, by the peace that lingers when they speak, by the clarity that follows their prayers. You've begun to notice them, haven't you? The conversations that suddenly go deeper than usual, the strangers who speak words that echo something already inside you. Heaven orchestrates those intersections to remind you that you're part of something vast and divine. You were never meant to carry destiny alone. Community is heaven's method of multiplication. And yet, even within unity, there will be separation. Not everyone who claims light carries it. Discernment remains essential. The false always tries to mimic the true, but authenticity reveals itself through fruit, not words. The genuine remnant doesn't boast, they build. They move quietly, guided by conviction instead of applause. This gathering is preparation for impact. Heaven is aligning hearts before releasing assignments. The world will not recognize it at first. It will seem like isolated individuals speaking hope into chaos, but in the spirit, it's one collective sound rising. The roar of unity disguised as whispers of obedience. You are part of that sound. The lessons of your wilderness, the endurance of your trials, the purity born from your shaking, all of it has prepared you for this moment. You are being positioned among others who understand your language of purpose. Together, you will accomplish what isolation could not. When the chosen ones align, miracles multiply. Strength becomes contagious. One person's breakthrough triggers another's healing. One act of obedience releases provision for many. Heaven uses this interconnectedness to accelerate its plans on earth. What felt delayed individually now unfolds collectively. The waiting ends when unity begins. Still, this movement requires humility. The power of the marked is not in dominance but in devotion. The moment pride enters, presence withdraws. The chosen ones are strongest when surrendered. Their victory isn't found in noise or recognition, but in quiet obedience to the whisper of God. This is what the gathering means: a return to original purpose. A generation once broken, now rebuilt as beacons of light. A people no longer defined by wounds but by wisdom. Heaven is raising torchbearers, bridge builders, and truth carriers who will rewrite narratives of despair into declarations of destiny. You are one among many, yet none replace you. Every chosen one matters. Every flame contributes to the greater fire. The gathering has begun not on stages but in hearts that have decided to stay faithful. When you look back someday, you'll see that this was not just a message, it was a meeting. Heaven introduced you to your tribe. And together, you will carry light where darkness once ruled, until the world begins to remember what hope feels like again. You are not gathering by accident. You are being positioned by design. Every path, every pain, every delay led you here to stand among the awakened and carry light into a waiting world together. There is a quiet rising within you now, the kind of courage that doesn't shout but hums like a steady heartbeat. You have endured, you have awakened, and you have remembered who you are. The storms that once made you tremble now only make you stand taller. You've crossed through wilderness and fire, and you've come out shining. This is the rise of the torchbearer, the moment heaven displays what it has been forming in secret. When heaven lifts a soul, it does not do so for spectacle. It does it so that light may travel farther. The reason your battles were so fierce was because your light needed refining. The flame you now carry is pure. It no longer burns wildly, it burns with purpose. You have become the torch others will follow. Not because you are perfect, but because you remained through the shaking. You will notice that people start to come to you without knowing why. They'll tell you, something about your presence feels safe. That's not coincidence, it's recognition. Light always finds those walking through darkness. You will not need to convince anyone of your transformation. The atmosphere around you will testify. The Word of God declares in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." This verse isn't a call for fame, it's a call for faithfulness. To shine is not to be seen, it is to serve. The brightest light is often carried by the quietest hands. You have become that light now, not because you sought a platform, but because heaven found your posture humble enough to hold fire. Every torchbearer must remember light is both gift and responsibility. It illuminates others, but it also exposes what still needs healing within. Carry it gently. Keep it pure. The same flame that guides can also consume if not guarded with reverence. That is why heaven continues to surround you with reminders to stay low, stay grateful, stay listening. You are entering a time when your influence will expand, but your heart must remain anchored. People will draw from your light, and that can be draining unless you stay connected to the source. A torch without oil becomes a symbol without power. Keep returning to prayer, to stillness, to the presence that first ignited your fire. That is how the light stays alive. And now, as you read these words, you can almost feel it, that subtle warmth, that familiar stirring in your chest. It is heaven's way of saying, you've become who you were meant to be. You've turned pain into purpose, silence into strength, delay into discipline. You have walked through night after night, and now dawn recognizes you. Take a breath. Look how far you've come. Every scar, every tear, every season of uncertainty, it all led to this moment. You are not at the end of your journey. You are at the unveiling of your essence. The world is about to see what heaven has always known. And in this quiet unveiling, there is an invitation, not obligation, but resonance. If this light touches your spirit, let it travel. Press like not as reaction, but as reflection, a way of saying, I see the flame and I carry it too. Share this light the way dawn shares itself across the sky, effortlessly, beautifully, without permission or pride. Let your sharing be your offering, your act of worship, a gentle ripple that carries hope into someone else's night. And if you wish to remain close to this fire, subscribe not as habit but as harmony, a silent way of whispering. Keep me where the light speaks. Let that choice be your devotion, not your duty. Finally, before you move on, write in the comments something from your heart. It doesn't need to be perfect, maybe just one word, one feeling, one echo of gratitude or revelation. That comment becomes your stone of remembrance, a marker of this moment when heaven confirmed your rise, because that's what this all has been, a remembering. The world didn't need another voice. It needed a flame that remembers its source. You are that flame now. Carry it quietly, fiercely, faithfully. The night will try to return, but it will not win. Not anymore. You've become what darkness fears most, a living light. The fire within you was never meant to fade. Every breath you take now feeds its glow. Guard it, nurture it, and let it lead others home without needing to force the flame. You are living proof that divine endurance outlasts every shadow. Keep walking in humility and strength. Your light speaks a language only broken hearts understand. When they see you, they will remember hope. When they hear you, they will feel heaven's pulse. You are not finished. You are finally shining. The world will keep spinning, but now you move with purpose, not pressure. Your footsteps leave warmth where they fall, and even in silence, heaven echoes through you, steady, luminous, eternal. There comes a point in every divine journey where pain turns into proof. You have walked through the flames and found that what burned away was never truly you, it was everything that couldn't stay. This is the season of refinement's reward. The world will see ashes, but heaven sees gold. Every test, every tear, every moment of breaking was an alchemy of transformation. Now heaven begins to crown you after the fire. This is not a crown of vanity, but of validation. It is not about status, it is about substance. A crown placed by divine hands signifies completion of one cycle and the readiness for responsibility. You are being crowned not because you fought perfectly, but because you never surrendered to darkness. The book of James, chapter 1, verse 12 reminds us, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." That promise is unfolding around you. The same hands that held you through the storm now lift your head above it. You are stepping into vindication, into the moment where heaven publicly affirms what it already whispered privately. You made it. The seasons that tried to silence you have become testimonies that will amplify you. Crowning is not ceremony. It is recognition. Heaven recognizes those who remained faithful in obscurity. You were not overlooked. You were hidden until the right time. What felt like delay was divine protection. Had you been revealed too soon, the weight of attention might have crushed you. But now you are strong enough to stand beneath glory without losing humility. This moment is sacred. The crown does not erase your scars, it rests among them. Every wound that healed in faith becomes a jewel in your crown. The betrayals that once cut deep now gleam as reminders of endurance. What once brought you shame will soon shine as evidence of grace. Heaven wastes nothing. Every ache becomes adornment. But the crown is not the end, it's the beginning of stewardship. To wear glory correctly, you must remember the ground you rose from. The higher you stand, the deeper your gratitude must grow. Authority without humility corrupts, but humility under authority transforms. Heaven crowns those who understand that leadership is service, not power. Vindication also arrives quietly. It will not always come as loud applause. Sometimes it comes as peace. The people who doubted you will watch as grace surrounds you again, not as revenge, but as revelation. Heaven does not humiliate enemies, it educates them. Through your rise, others will see that endurance was not wasted. There will be moments when you question if you deserve this new season. But remember, you endured what many did not. The test was never about talent. It was about trust. Heaven needed to see if your heart could carry what your hands would soon hold. You passed not by perfection, but by perseverance. Now the crown rests upon you, invisible yet undeniable. You will walk differently because you carry weight differently. Your voice will soften but hold authority. Your eyes will see clearer because they've wept purer tears. You will begin to notice new grace in simple things, peace where there was chaos, laughter where there was loss, stillness where there was striving. Crowning comes with light that attracts, but light also exposes. Stay guarded. The more heaven lifts you, the more humility must anchor you. Glory without grounding becomes idolatry. Let every compliment remind you of your calling, not your comfort. This season of crowning also restores what the fire took. Relationships mended, opportunities reopened, confidence rebuilt. These are tokens of divine recompense. What you thought was gone forever returns multiplied. Refined through obedience, you will find yourself smiling at memories that once hurt, realizing they were the soil where your faith took root. As you move forward, do not look back with regret. Look back only to recognize how far grace carried you. You are not who you were before the fire. You are the testimony of endurance, a living emblem of resilience shaped by divine hands. Your crown is not just reward, it is remembrance. Each jewel, each shimmer, each unseen weight speaks of nights you chose faith over fear. You wear not gold, but glory, and every time you lift your head, heaven smiles, knowing its promise was fulfilled. The fire that once surrounded you has now become your light. You no longer fear the heat because you've learned it forges, not destroys. Every breath you take now carries proof of transformation. Walk gently with your crown. It is both gift and reminder. Let it teach you how to lead with grace, to lift others as you rise, to shine without burning. Heaven didn't crown you to end your story, it crowned you to begin another. This time, you walk not as survivor, but as sovereign of purpose. There is a stillness that follows completion, a sacred calm that settles when heaven's purpose reaches its fullness. You stand now in that quiet moment, the space between fulfillment and new beginning. The air feels lighter, the noise softer, the weight gone. You've walked through warnings, awakenings, battles, obedience, and fire, and here you are whole. Heaven has not only restored you, it has remade you. This is what divine maturity feels like, not constant motion, but deep peace. You no longer need signs to believe. You no longer chase what you were never meant to hold. The need to prove, to rush, to fight for validation has dissolved. What remains is clarity, simple, steady, unshakable clarity. You know who you are, and more importantly, you know whose you are. The book of Isaiah, chapter 62, verse 3, declares you will be a crown of splendor in the Lord's hand, a royal diadem in the hand of your God. That's what you've become, a living emblem of redemption. Your worth no longer depends on applause or approval. You are a testimony in motion, evidence that heaven finishes what it starts. The road that tried to break you became the very ground that revealed your strength. The crown that rests upon you now shines not with pride, but with peace. The final trumpet of obedience has sounded, not a call to panic, but a call to posture. Heaven isn't shouting, it's whispering. Now guard what you've gained. You have reached the point where temptation no longer lures as before, but complacency can. The danger of completion is comfort, the feeling that the journey is over when, in truth, it's evolving. You were not brought this far to retire into silence. You were brought here to live from alignment. This season is about flow, not force. You no longer fight for purpose, you become it. Your existence itself becomes a message, your breath a prayer, your presence a sanctuary. Everywhere you go, something invisible shifts because heaven walks with you. You have become the bridge between worlds, the sacred meeting of flesh and faith, of divine and dust. What you release through love now carries more power than what you could ever accomplish through effort. You have learned the art of rest within motion, of calm within chaos. That is true dominion, not control, but composure. Heaven now trusts you with influence because you've proven you won't idolize it. You've learned that real power isn't loud, it's light. You don't need to announce yourself, heaven already does. And so you will move through life differently, less striving, more sensing, less reacting, more responding. This is what legacy feels like before it's seen. Legacy isn't what you leave behind when you die. It's what you build while you live. It's in the words you speak, the peace you carry, the lives you quietly change. You may never see all the ripples of your obedience, but heaven will. And one day, eternity will replay the scenes of your faithfulness, and you'll realize it was never small. You are entering a season where your obedience becomes others' opportunity. The light that now burns steadily within you will ignite courage in others. They will find strength in your story, hope in your endurance, direction in your peace. That is how heaven multiplies redemption through living examples, not distant ideals. Still, remember, the journey doesn't end. It transforms. Every conclusion in heaven's design is a doorway disguised as stillness. You are about to walk through new doors, not with striving, but with still confidence. The same God who called you through fire will now call you into fruitfulness. You will notice blessings arriving quietly, opportunities flowing naturally, people entering your life without struggle. This isn't coincidence, it's alignment. When you remain centered, Creation cooperates. The universe bends toward those who walk in divine order. Your yes has shifted atmospheres. Now, heaven watches you with pride, not because you succeeded in everything, but because you remained teachable in everything. Your humility became your crown, your obedience became your armor. You are the proof that surrender doesn't shrink you, it sanctifies you. The trumpet of obedience isn't a blast of warning anymore, it's a song of welcome. You've crossed into the realm of purpose fulfilled, where peace and power coexist. The fire no longer tests you, it fuels you. The voice that once corrected now converses. You and heaven have become collaborators. Stand in that truth. Breathe in that calm. Feel the rhythm of destiny finally steady within your chest. You are no longer searching for meaning, you are the meaning heaven intended to display. Your life has become a living prophecy, a divine echo that continues long after words fade. And when the world asks what happened to you, you will smile and simply say, I listened. The story ends, but the light continues. You walk forward not as seeker, but as sender, carrying heaven's heartbeat into every moment, every soul, every silent place that still needs dawn. And now, the message completes its circle. The story has spoken, the fire has burned, and you, chosen one, stand at the edge of a new horizon. This is not the end. It's the moment after the final note when the silence still hums with meaning. You've walked through revelation and warning, through awakening and restoration. You've seen how every closed door was a detour toward destiny. Heaven has finished what it began, but the echo continues through you. Let the peace you feel now sink deep. The weight you carried was never punishment. It was preparation. Every scene in this journey was designed to bring you here steady, aware, and filled with light. The words you've read were not coincidence. They were conversation. The one who called you has never stopped calling. You were led here to remember that the voice of heaven doesn't end when the message does, it continues in your daily steps, in your smallest decisions, in the quiet places of your soul. And now, a gentle invitation, nothing demanded, everything offered. If this message became a mirror for your heart, press-like as a way of acknowledging that something within you has shifted, it isn't applause, it's agreement. It's your quiet nod to heaven saying, I understand. Share this light as dawn shares itself without effort, without control. Let it find the eyes and hearts that need to remember hope. You never know whose night your small gesture will end. And if your spirit wishes to stay close to this flow, subscribe not as a routine click, but as a symbolic return, a way of saying, keep me near the flame. Let the reminders find me when I forget. Finally, before you leave, write in the comments what this journey awakened in you. It can be a single word piece, clarity, freedom, or simply a heart emoji. Every word written becomes a thread in this tapestry of light, connecting one flame to another. This is how endings live on, not through noise, but through remembrance. You've become the continuation. Carry the light forward.